Like sometimes it happens they have gone through the technical round, but in HR round they got filtered, they got rejection.
Okay, yeah, it happens when
Is that coding required for AWS cloud jobs, or the even non-coders can also enter into the AWS cloud journey?
AI is also like part of a cloud itself. Like all these generative AI, these things are built on the cloud.
So can you add on like how was your interview with the AWS, how much rounds they have conducted and how you got selected there?
Okay, so total for me it was 4 rounds.
How much a fresher can expect as a cloud developer, either if they are not joining AWS, let's suppose any other company?
So what my strategy was first.
Hi everyone, so welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in this video, I have invited Ujjwal, who is currently working as a cloud engineer with AWS company. So if you are a fresher or an experienced professional looking for a cloud development role, so this video is going to be very helpful. So in this video, I have discussed in detail regarding Ujjwal's cloud journey, like how he cracked his cloud developer role in AWS company. So what was his strategy behind it, how he prepared his resume, and what all the questions has been asked to a cloud developer. So basically, is cloud computing still a relevant career choice for freshers in 2025? And what all the skills that has been required to become a cloud developer? And if you're a fresher and you have no idea regarding what projects you can include in your resume, so all those questions have been covered in this video. So stay tuned, keep watching this video till the end. You will be going to get a lot of info from this video. Hi Ujjwal, welcome to my YouTube channel. How are you?
Yeah, I am good. How are you?
I'm too good. So उज्जवल इस पॉडकास्ट में हम बात करने वाले हैं आपकी क्लाउड जर्नी के बारे में. सो बिफोर स्टार्टिंग दिस आई वांट यू टू इंट्रोड्यूस योरसेल्फ, लाइक व्हाट वाज योर एजुकेशनल बैकग्राउंड, आपने स्कूलिंग कहाँ से की है एंड हाउ यू एंटर्ड इनटू द आईटी सेक्टर.
Okay. So to begin with, I have done my schooling and my college from Delhi only, and I have done BTech in Electronics and Communication Engineering from Guru Gobind Singh Infosys University, that is in Delhi only. So after my college, I went to Infosys for around 10 months as a system engineer trainee. I worked there in the SAP technologies. And then after that, I joined Amazon AWS, and I have been with AWS from around four years now. Okay. So I'm working here as a cloud support engineer in the storage domain. So what we have to do is we basically deal with the services that AWS offers in the storage domain, like S3 simple storage service, elastic file system, and we have to deal with the customers on a daily basis, like troubleshooting their problems in the storage domain only. Yeah, that's all about me, Kajal.
Okay. Yeah, Ujjwal, as you have mentioned, like you were in Infosys earlier and you were system engineer there. So from Infosys to AWS, like how you have started within the Infosys, was it your on-campus placement, and in which tech stack you got trained within the Infosys, and how then from Infosys you switched to AWS?
Okay, so I was passed out at 2020. So that year we
Okay.
have coronavirus, right? So
Mm-hmm.
around that time, the first company came into my college was Infosys that I joined,
Mm-hmm.
and I worked there for 10 months, and I trained on the SAP. There is a SAP technology, okay, in
Mm-hmm.
that domain. But I worked only for 3 months because 6 months they have generic training, and then for
Mm-hmm.
2-3 months they have the core domain training. So I worked
Mm-hmm.
only for 2-3 months in that technology. After that,
Okay.
due to late placement, company came, Amazon AWS, into my campus only. Okay. And then I
Okay.
interviewed for this position, cloud support engineer, and yeah, then after that only I joined AWS. Yeah.
Okay. 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 Okay, so were you from college preparing for this cloud, or is it like you have interest in cloud and after the placement you thought that SAP is not a good technology for you, or you should have to switch in that technology? Like how you started your cloud journey basically?
Okay. So while working in Infosys, I was trying out other opportunities as well, like looking for other
Mm-hmm.
opportunities. And at that time, cloud was on the boom. Right now, it's also on the boom. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that at that time only, I decided that hey, I want to go to this cloud. AWS was the leader. Right now, it's
Mm-hmm.
also the leader, but yeah, there are other clouds as well, Google Cloud and Azure. But that at that time only I decided that I want to go into cloud. I tried to search for the job opportunities what we have, and then got to know
Mm-hmm.
that my on my campus itself, the AWS is coming for this cloud engineer, cloud support engineer position, and that, yeah, that is the thing. That time I joined.
Okay, so as you mentioned, it was your on-campus placement, the AWS one. So within the on-campus placement, you got offer from Infosys as well as from AWS as well.
Correct, correct. So as mentioned, like due to COVID, the placement companies came very late. Okay, so after I
Okay.
joined Infosys, I worked there for 3-4 months, and then Amazon came to that campus.
Okay.
Yeah, late, but I interviewed there as well. Yep.
Okay, so from your first year, you have been preparing for this AWS or how it started?
I would say after joining at Infosys, from like
Hmm.
third year, second sem, like what, seventh semester you could say, or maybe sixth semester. After that, I
Hmm.
started preparing for AWS certifications and then joined AWS.
Okay, okay. So since you have already been working with AWS, but as a fresher, so whosoever wants to enter into the cloud journey or thinking they want to become a cloud developer, so it becomes very difficult for any fresher, or let's suppose if someone is experienced one and they directly want to switch their technology from somewhere they are doing like coding or anything like any different work like Java developer, be it a .NET developer, so now they want to transition into AWS as a cloud developer basically. So what would you suggest, like how would they have to start their preparation, like what roadmap should they have to follow in order to get success as a cloud developer basically?
Okay, so for fresher, I would say keep your basic strong in Linux, then computer
Okay.
networking, and then operating system. These were the basic principle or the basic foundational knowledge that AWS requires. Okay, apart from
Hmm.
it, if you could able be to do that AWS certified cloud practitioner, okay, then that's a edge opportunity, or it could be a plus one for you. Okay, but your computer networks and then operating system, coding you can say it could be basic, you can go to advanced as well. Okay, but
Hmm.
these computer network, Linux, and this operating system is the must have to go inside the cloud journey, or to interview at least AWS as a fresher.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, since you have mentioned computer network is important, Linux is important, and somewhere some coding language is itself important. So, like which coding language one has to prefer, and what about the computer networks in Linux that you have mentioned? Which resources any fresher or any experienced professional can follow?
Okay, so I can tell you about my journey, that what I have done to prepare it. Okay, so basically I was not much good at coding, but yeah, I know the basics. I was able to read the code and not much into DSA, but yeah, the basic coding I do inside C++. Okay, right now, if you can say, right now Python is most popular language. So if any fresher wants to do, they can do in the Python itself. Okay, now, coming to the computer networks and operating system. Okay, so since I was a electronics student, so I learned inside my college as well the computer networks and the operating system. These were my subjects as well. Okay, I think these are the core subjects for the computer science students as well. Okay, so but for preparation, I used there is a YouTube channel called Gate Smashers. I use the playlist of them. Okay, they have a very good playlist for the operating system and the computer network as well. Okay, you can prepare that. And Linux, you can say it's like a day-to-day task. You can search for the what are the top most commands, or you can how you can change the directory, how to change the permissions in the Linux. So just some hands-on on the Linux file system, that would be good.
Okay. So when you came to know like you are being prepared for AWS, was there any strategy you have followed? Some different strategy that make your profile different from the other candidates?
Okay, I would say the basic foundation knowledge of the operating system is must have. Like sometime you have the coding knowledge, okay, but you don't have the strong foundation knowledge of computer network, how to troubleshoot your network, how to troubleshoot your slowness issues on your system. Okay, so these you can prepare not only from videos, but you have to do some hands-on what top commands, or what these commands will do, how to take a packet capture and analyze the networks, right? So what my strategy was, first, when I got the interview email that I've been selected, so they will send you an syllabus as well that contains these computer networks. That is not exhaustive, like it's not exclusive that only these topics will come, but similar to that, other topics inside the computer networking or operating system or uh, Linux can be there. Okay, so yeah, the playlist that I recommended, like Git the Gate Smasher, that contains almost all the topics, but you have to do some hands-on, like how these things are working actually. So that maybe I can say, since I was an electronic student, I like computers, right, working inside this Linux. So I used Kali Linux for some hacking purposes. So yeah, I used to do that. So that's where I can say I have some edge on the hands-on part only. Yeah.
Okay, since you have mentioned that AWS was your on-campus placement, so from AWS when it came up, so how your resume screening was done? Like you have already been placed within the Infosys as a system engineer. So when AWS came up, obviously you must have made some different strategy to nail that AWS resume screening round. So what all the skills you have mentioned there, so that you found that yes, your resume can be selected in the AWS itself.
I think resume takes the most important part when it comes to a off campus or you are referred by someone. Okay, when it is
Okay.
coming to your on campus, they would look at the CGPA of the college, like what you don't have any backlogs at that point of time, and
Okay.
you are willing to go for interview. You have to give the placement coordinator your name, right? To get interviewed. So resume selection was not the major criteria at that time when I was a fresher and it came on campus.
Okay.
But
Okay. So,
yeah, but I can say if someone has this cloud practitioner certifications, or if someone mentioned that he has done in project in Linux or something related to internship related to computer networks, okay, 3G, 5G, you can say. So I think that would be an edge.
yes, in resume side, as we all know, that project is something that gives you a very important edge over the other candidates. But sometimes when we look at the freshers or experienced candidate as well, so they become stuck like what we have to add in projects or what kind of projects we have to do in order to get selected in any of the good companies. So project is a very tricky part because everyone used to look at or used to see one of the YouTube channel and same kind of project is just being done by them, and it is not something they think that they should show up in their resume itself, like that project is itself not that good enough. So what you suggest from your end, because you have an experience and you're an experienced professional, so what should they have to add within the project, or what can be given edge over the other candidates?
Okay, so I would comment for the AWS cloud journey only. Okay, so
Okay.
what freshers can get an edge by building a project related to AWS itself. They can develop an architecture related to AWS, like they can combine multiple services: S3 for storage, AWS Lambda for computation,
Okay.
EC2 for
Okay.
computation. They can build a project around that, maybe a ticketing system, a simple ticketing system, but that on AWS, right? So that way they can develop the projects, and hands-on in the must is the must. Like only learning the project or reading the project will not give you an edge. If you have the hands-on, if you have really prepared that project, then it's good.
Okay, okay. So how the interviews of cloud developer look like? So can you add on like what? How was your interview with the AWS? How much rounds they have conducted, and how you got selected there?
Okay, so total for me, it was 4 rounds, and if you
Okay,
say HR round as well, so it's five. Okay, but
okay.
okay. So first round was on operating system and the coding round. They will always just notify you that this will be your round. Okay, operating system and coding knowledge. So operating
Hmm.
system, the basic how the booting process work, how you can troubleshoot a system issues,
Hmm.
or other basic related to the like if you can choose between the operating system, you can choose Linux, you can
Hmm.
choose Windows as well if you have
Hmm.
more hands on a Windows. Okay, how you
Hmm.
can check the task manager in Windows, right?
Hmm.
So these kind of things related to operating system, how these memory management works. There are other
Hmm.
topics and basic coding. So they will give you a question related to the coding.
Okay.
Okay, and you have to write the code for that. You can choose any language, whichever you are comfortable of. It's not
Okay.
language specific. So I choose at that time C++. Okay, so
Okay.
yeah, so it was a diamond pattern question for me, and I wrote a
Okay.
code for that. And now comes the second round. It was solely depends on that computer networking part. Okay, all the basics, foundational, and some in-depth knowledge you must have related to computer networks. How these
Okay.
DNS propagations, right?
Okay.
How the DHCP or the netting
Hmm.
process, all related to IP subnetting concept. So there are many concepts in the computer network, how the OSI model works, right? So these
Hmm.
kind of things in the second round. Then the third and the fourth round will be a managerial and behavior round, and that solely depends on the leadership principle that Amazon have. So Amazon have actually
Hmm.
14 leadership principles, and the
Hmm.
question would be around that. There would be a scenario based question, and they
Hmm.
would judge you on all those leadership principles. And fifth was HR,
Okay.
so it was a basic one, like you are willing to relocate, or yeah, not much into the HR round.
Okay. And some freshers or even experienced ones says, like sometimes it happens they have gone through the technical round, but in HR round they got filtered, they got rejection. Does it happen?
Okay, yeah, it happens when see when there's a requirement to, let's
Hmm.
say, in a Pune, and you are not willing to relocate.
Hmm.
And if you say that I don't want to relocate, then only these kind of things happen. Otherwise, no. I have never seen anyone inside my journey rejecting in the HR interview.
Okay, okay, got it. Okay, yes. So, Ujjwal, you have already mentioned that they have asked you to write diamond pattern problem in coding round. So basically, if someone who is a non-coder or like who has no interest in coding, so can they consider AWS cloud role? Means is that coding required for AWS cloud jobs, or the even non-coders can also enter into the AWS cloud journey?
Hmm. So basically, not much. You don't have to do DSA level of coding, but
Yes.
if you
Hmm.
come, yeah, if you want to join the AWS or any cloud related job, you
Hmm.
have to at least the basic knowledge of the coding. That is a must that someone has. Yeah.
Can you elaborate in basic knowledge? Let's suppose I'm a Java developer. So, in basic concept, like should I have been knowing basic syntax of Java, that functions, how work,
How
arrays,
loop
strings, or
works.
yeah, or like I have to grill in DSA like arrays, strings, medium level questions in lead code. I have to do so.
So I in comparison to lead code, if you are able to do that easy questions, right? You know
Hmm.
how the loop works, how what is an array, what is a string, where it is used, how you can print a star pattern or pyramid
Okay.
pattern, or maybe
Okay.
a palindrome, Armstrong. These are some basic coding, right? So
Okay.
if you are able to do the lead code easy, that should be more than enough.
Okay. So only arrays, strings, or is it linked list, stack queue also required?
No, stack queues and linked list are not such a requirement, but yeah,
Okay.
it would be better if you know that.
Okay, means even though that interviewers can ask these type of questions from a cloud engineer.
Yes, yes, it can be asked.
Okay, okay, got it. So means for non-coders, this job is not something they can enter into.
Yeah, if
What do you
you
think?
really hate coding, then
Yeah.
uh, then it's not for you, because you have to develop, you have to at least support the customer in their
Mm-hmm.
application that depends on the code
Hmm.
itself. Okay, So if you are really not into the coding, then yeah, at least basic is required. So
Actually, I have just one question came up in my mind. There are many of my friends who used to say that in cloud, basically, we must have to know about the infrastructure, how that particular infrastructure works, and like that, how we can deploy our particular any of the application in that cloud itself. So, how that coding basically make an impact in their particular role, in their day-to-day responsibility, basically.
okay, see, I can talk about my day-to-day responsibility and how the
Oh,
coding knowledge benefit me. So,
okay.
suppose a client of an AWS facing some
Mm-hmm.
issues in the
Mm-hmm.
storage domain. Okay, they have an application deployed on their on-premises, and they are doing some upload, download kind of thing. Okay, but they
Mm-hmm.
are using Java SDK to call those APIs. Okay, so if
Mm-hmm.
there is a problem while calling the client, okay, and
Okay.
if I don't know what it is written, like what is this code, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I don't have a basic knowledge that how it is doing and what are kind of parameters that is required,
Mm-hmm.
and client may
Mm-hmm.
not be adding that those parameters. Okay, so that's
Mm-hmm.
where the part of coding comes. Like you should have a knowledge at least to read the code,
Okay.
what is happening
Mm.
there and how they are connecting to the AWS APIs. So yeah.
Okay, okay, got it. Okay, so since you have mentioned about your day-to-day responsibility, so can you elaborate more like how is your day-to-day responsibility as a cloud support engineer looks like?
Okay, so my day-to-day responsibility includes the main goals, and we have
Mm.
some side projects as well here and there.
Mm.
Okay, so the main thing that you have to do is to support the customer. It's a support role, right? So
Okay.
all the AWS customers that you have, that the AWS have basically, you
Mm.
should have to support them in their
Mm.
troubleshooting, in their application deployment. You can say if they need to migrate to AWS, what are the best
Mm.
practices, how they can benefit the AWS products to
Mm.
migrate from on-premises data centers to AWS, right? So
Mm.
in order to support them, you should have a knowledge of AWS as well, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so these are my basic goals, or the main goals, you can say. uh, Now we have some side projects inside developing, inside innovation. So
Mm.
basically Amazon works on innovations as well, okay, right?
Mm.
So we have some tool developing projects, right, to in order, or dashboard developing, so in order to make things easier, right, to make a tool for a system or maybe for a product of S3, you can use
Mm.
that. So these are some side projects, labs, and other things as well.
Okay, okay, got it. So Ujjwal, basically you have given interview with the Infosys and later on for AWS. So there must be a huge package gap between both the companies, because I know Infosys hire at a package of around 3.6, because I has also been hired within the Infosys system engineer at a package of 3.6 even in 20 back in 2020. Yeah. So what about you, like in AWS in campus placement, how much they offered to you?
Okay, so AWS actually was a huge jump for me, and for me it was around 14 plus CTC.
Okay, okay, got it. Okay, so it was been very good start as a fresher. So what from your end, what do you think, like how much a fresher can expect as a cloud developer, either if they are not joining AWS, let's suppose any other company as a cloud developer, or any experienced one who is making a transition from service based company to any other startups, or let's suppose any of the other cloud company. So how much package they can expect?
Actually, it depends upon company to company, right? Product based
Hmm.
generally offers you more than a startup or than a service based company. Even if you have
Hmm.
the same knowledge, or if you are doing the
Hmm.
exact same thing, okay, there will be a package difference between a product based and a service based or a startup, right? But
Hmm.
I would say you can expect around 10 CTC.
Okay.
Yep.
So as we were discussing earlier, you have mentioned that AWS Cloud Practitioner certification one can do, it will be giving edge over other candidates. But it's also you have mentioned it's not necessarily for one to do. So let's suppose how you think that the certification benefits or add up in their resume, because I have seen many people are doing certification nowadays and think if they have done certification, they will be getting, it becomes very easy for them to get or grab any kind of job as a cloud developer.
Okay, see, not only certification, I would say
Hmm.
hands-on is also important. So if you are preparing for AWS Cloud Practitioner even,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
you are solely preparing only from videos and you are just
Hmm.
reading stuff, you are not
Hmm.
doing hands-on,
Yes.
then it would not be a much edge than the other person that does not have a certification but it's a hands-on project they have done, right? So
Hmm.
if an AWS interview will ask question related to AWS product, so the hands-on will be having some more edge than the certified even, right? So
Hmm.
if you are doing certification as a fresher, I would suggest to do the hands-on as well. That is a part
Hmm.
of that certification.
Okay, I agree with you. Hands on is very important. So, but as a fresher, getting hands on experience is itself very challenging task. So, can you suggest freshers any kind of projects that they can start with or can start their preparation?
Okay, see, on YouTube, you would, if you just search for the cloud related project, there would be a
Hmm.
many projects available.
Hmm.
Also, AWS offer, I think right now, not the exact amount, but $1,000 or $100 of discount to the students for their first use of AWS. Okay, so they can benefit from that. They can hands on the AWS with this discount, this student discounts, and use the
Hmm.
AWS service to gain the knowledge.
Okay. So, what do you think? What is the key benefits working as a cloud developer? Because in 2025, there are many other fields as well we can explore. There is web development, there is a Java development, Python. But when we ask freshers, they becomes confused between all those technologies. Whether we have to go for cloud, whether we have to go for AI, since AI is in boom right now, and there is other applications like web applications that works on Java. There are others as data science as well. So, what do you think was the future of cloud computing and how freshers can see their future within it?
Okay, see, it mostly depends upon your skill set or maybe your interest as well. Okay, if
Hmm.
someone has an interest in cloud, they should definitely go to the cloud. Okay, but what
Hmm.
benefits if, let's say, if you are into the cloud, you are working in the cloud computing domain, and if you want to switch to, let's say, web development, it's an easy switch. You just have to learn that product, and you can
Hmm.
jump into the web development field as well. Okay, now
Hmm.
let's say right now it's AI is booming, right? So we have
Hmm.
AWS product like Amazon Bedrock, right? Amazon
Hmm.
SageMaker AI. So these
Hmm.
product basically this product will benefit you uh, in learning more into the AI field or going into the AI field as well. So
Hmm.
when you have a hands-on on cloud, it's an overall benefit. You can go inside any field you want. It
Hmm.
depends upon your interest as well. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Yeah, it totally depends upon interest. If someone has interest in data science or in cloud, or let's suppose in web development, so they can make their choice wisely according to their interest, not just because what type of salaries they would be getting in the market. Because in the longer run, is something that interest that makes you stay longer in any of the company. Yeah, totally agree with you, Ujjwal. Yes, so moving on to, so since right now you're working as a cloud support engineer within the AWS, so can you tell me like how many roles they are available and how freshers can do their start as a cloud developer?
Okay, so I can tell you about my field only. When you
Mm-hmm.
start as a fresher, you would be a cloud support associate. It's an
Okay.
associate level. You have
Mm-hmm.
to qualify the solution architect associate certificate at
Mm-hmm.
least to work with the customers and to work on the tickets. So you should have or you must have that AWS knowledge. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can move or get promoted to cloud support engineer 1, then engineer 2, then a senior cloud support engineer. So these are the main core, you can say, path for career path for a cloud support engineer. But again, it depends upon interest, like they can move into operation engineer or they can move into
Mm-hmm.
security engineer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, since right now you have mentioned operations engineer, so I also have looked up that role as well. Like in AWS, there are AMS operations engineers as well, and they also have to deal with cloud infrastructure, everything. So, how this particular role is different from your role, that is the cloud support?
So this AWS cloud support engineer that we have is specific to a domain. You would be trained on a specific domain, and
Okay.
then you have to work deep inside that domain and help the customers. Okay, operation
Mhm.
engineer basically handles all the application, all the AWS services for the customer. So they handle their infrastructure itself. If it is AWS Lambda, it's a computation service, or it's a storage service, or it's a they have to build the infrastructure around all those services, and they can take help from us, like cloud support engineers, to dive deep into a specific domain or a specific service.
Okay, so right now you have told me regarding AMS operations engineers work basically. So you are working as a cloud support engineer. Let's suppose someone wants to start their career as AMS operations engineer. So is it different from cloud support engineer? Like what basic skill is required in order to get into that?
Okay, so the basic skill required is same as a cloud support engineer. It depends upon
Okay.
just the vacancy. If there is an internal vacancy or a internal posting, you can go to the AMS as well.
Okay.
There's no specific skill set that is required that is different from AWS support engineer. It's kind of a same skill set.
Okay. Any package difference will be there, or will it be same kind of?
It will be same for both the domain.
Okay. Okay. Got it. So yeah, so Ujjwal, like what inspired you to start your journey as a cloud developer? Because being a fresher or being a college student, we every time juggle between what technology we have to start with or what should be our career in future. Because I was a college student, I was also very confused, like what technology I have to start. Because in the college, we know that teachers used to teach C++ programming language. So our inclination basically we think that yes, we can work within this technology or this Java programming, or let's suppose C++, and later on we'll figure out. But within the college itself, we have figured out that yes, you will be making your journey or making your career within the cloud itself. So what inspired you to start with cloud?
Okay, yeah. What is inspires me is basically the main is the cloud boom, I can say. Like
Okay.
the more popularity that cloud was gaining at that point of time, and
Mm-hmm.
right now it's also gaining, right? Everything, every company was moving to cloud. Their data centers or their infrastructure
Mm-hmm.
is moving to the cloud. So that you can say that inspires me, that there is a future inside this cloud domain. And I was not much good into the coding part, so I was not looking into that web development or
Mm-hmm.
backend developer field. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to look for different opportunity, maybe a business analyst role or other things, right? Not much into the coding things. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so at that point of time, I decided that I want to go inside the cloud domain field. And I could say that was my luck that at that same point of time, Amazon came into my college on campus, and I got to know about this opportunity, so I interviewed there.
Okay. So it's glad that you came to know in which career you have to go within the college itself. But many freshers, many experienced professional even struggle because sometimes they have entered into some field and they are thinking right now this field is not for them. Like they don't like that coding that hardcore as they used to like within the college itself. Like, so what do you suggest to them? Like, can they enter in the cloud? Like, is it good that is it the good time that they can enter into the cloud, or what's kind of future ahead is in cloud, or what kind of preparation they should do, because since they are experienced one, they have no experience within the cloud. So do you think they can enter in the cloud?
Yeah, so for experienced one, I would say try to look for those projects that involves the cloud, or
Hmm.
AWS, Azure, or Google. Any cloud that would be fine. So try to gather those opportunities
Hmm.
inside your company, that because there would be many projects that build upon the cloud that require developers or engineers. Okay, so try to look for those opportunity to get some hands on. So if you have the hands on, you would be able to switch your career to the cloud itself, like fully, right? So
Okay.
try for experience, they should look for those opportunities, like what projects are currently going and what kind of technologies they are using. Are they using cloud for their data centers or for these
Hmm.
applications? If yes, they can join those projects, try to get some hands on, try to build more into this cloud, and then can switch to the cloud domain. Yep.
Okay. So you are already been knowing about AI. So there is a lot of buzz. Everyone is saying that AI is going to replace engineers. So what about the cloud field? So in backend field, we can see right now we are integrating the AI with our backend field. So what about the cloud? Like in cloud itself, like there are tools that has been got integrated within the AWS. And how do you think about AI, or what's your perspective on it?
So see, AI is also like part of a cloud itself. Like
Hmm.
all these generative AI,
Hmm.
these things are built on the cloud, trained on the cloud, right? So we
Hmm.
have training mechanism like a Bedrock. We can train models and
Hmm.
do the certain task.
Hmm.
Okay, so in the cloud itself, if you want to do only in the AI field, you can train those models. You can hands on Amazon Bedrock. Okay,
Hmm.
that is a AI model. And I think it's a correlated field. It's not like if you are into cloud you cannot get the exposure inside the AI field, right?
Hmm.
It's both are correlated. Okay,
Hmm.
so it's there is no much of an issue if you are a cloud developer.
Okay. So you think that AI and automation is not going to impact cloud jobs? Is that?
Yeah, you can I would say it can either benefit those cloud job. You can build some automations, right,
Okay.
to keep your job easier or to do your job easier, right?
Hmm.
So you can build those automation inside the cloud itself, but it cannot fully replace the cloud engineers or the cloud developers.
Okay. So right now you're working within the AWS. So how the career progression in AWS look like?
Okay, so career progression is depends upon your skill and what you are actually doing, because here in Amazon, all it depends upon the leadership principle that you are
Hmm.
making an impact, in which
Hmm.
you are making an impact. So
Hmm.
basically, you must have to show all those characteristics of those leadership principle.
Hmm.
So for my journey, I could say uh, I have done like the clouds. The first promotion I got within a year, or you can say 1 year or some months. Okay,
Hmm.
and the second promotion, it took some time, but yeah, I achieved that. So not only focusing on your specific main goals, you have to do the side things. Like there are some things, like for example, here you have to become a subject matter expert
Hmm.
inside a AWS product or AWS service, that you really have the knowledge and anyone can ask you questions, or you can deal with the customers on that specific 300 or 400 levels of knowledge around that service. Okay, and you have to work with the solution architects
Hmm.
to build or to migrate entire data center of the customer to cloud, and how it is basically helping those customers, how much
Hmm.
savings they are on the cloud, and instead of the data center, basically some kind of cost optimization project, you can say. So yeah, I think this way only the leadership you have to show to make a career progression inside the AWS.
Okay, in some companies we know that the career progression depends upon number of years of experience you gained in that particular company. They will easily promote you. But as you are saying that in AWS one has to become subject matter expert. So is there something different they have to do apart from working within the project or team they are currently working? Any sort of interviews they have to go through, or is it just based on ratings, or what you said, your work that you are currently working matters?
So I would say there are some certain parameters, not
Hmm.
only experience. If you achieve those parameters, and if you are showing your full potential, and if you are showing a customer obsession or other leadership
Hmm.
principles, okay, then you would definitely get promoted even if you don't have that much of experience. Okay, but they are the patterns, the certain parameters that we have here is like you have to become that subject matter expert, and it's not an easy task, right?
Okay.
You have to do it besides your main goals. So these customer obsession, or you can say cost optimization projects, or migration projects, these kind of projects are basically addition to your main goals. So these kinds of things you have to do to get around the career path, or you can say to get ahead inside the career path.
Okay. So right now I will ask you one important thing. In service based company, what happens if you are in project, you are working for a project, it becomes very difficult to switch another project. Let's suppose you are working for a particular client, and then you have to leave that client and have to map into the another project. It becomes very difficult in service based company when one wants to change their project basically. So what happens in product based company like you are currently working? So here I know there is no concept of bench or that client basically exists. So there is team specific hiring used to happen. So is it easy in AWS or let's suppose any other companies to take a switch from one team to another team?
Yes, it's definitely. Also, if you come into Amazon, there would be lots of internal opportunities
Mm-hmm.
that you can switch into. You can directly talk to hiring manager. What are the requirements?
Mm-hmm.
If the job description or skill set matches your work that you are currently doing, you can definitely make a switch. It's not a problem, or it's not a issue, or you can say it's not a difficult for an engineer or any professional to switch internally or externally.
When it becomes a part of the career progression, so everyone feel or everyone think that we should not do a team switch because whatever the kind of task or the work we have delivered in our previous team, that won't be going to considered in another team. Does it happen?
Okay, so it depends upon the profile itself, in
Hmm.
which profile you are going into. So,
Hmm.
if it's a team switch, it's not specific to a project,
Hmm.
it would be specific to a profile itself.
Hmm.
Okay, so if you are making an impact inside your current field or
Hmm.
current project,
Hmm.
so that benefit you to go or switch into another project. Okay,
Hmm.
that will basically a plus point for you. So if you suppose we have 10 employees
Hmm.
inside a project and you are doing good work, so it
Hmm.
you have a chance to switch to another project or another team because you are much better than else, right,
Hmm.
others.
Hmm.
So I think it's a plus point that you are doing good inside your current project. Not, it's not an issue or difficulty.
Okay, okay, got it. Okay, yeah. So, Ujjwal, last question, then we would be going to wrap up this video. We will not be stretching it more. Yeah. So, what advice you will be giving to fresher or the experienced one who are willing to enter into the cloud development?
Okay, so my advice would be in your college years, if you are a fresher, in your college years, try to focus on the subjects that you have inside the college. Try to maintain a good CGPA, SGPA. Okay, try to focus on operating systems, cloud
Hmm.
computing, cloud
Hmm.
networks, or computer networks. Okay,
Hmm.
try to make hands-on projects on AWS, or not on AWS, any cloud related platform that you can make. Okay, so this is for fresher, and for experience I would say try to go get into these projects like where you are having the cloud related technologies or cloud related applications, so that you can get more hands on the cloud, and then you can perform a switch into the cloud role. Yep, that's all from my side.
Yeah, I just remember one question I skipped that. When we were talking in background, you told me like you used to conduct interviews, right? Within the AWS itself. So, yeah. So, I think right now I should be asking one more question to you. Like, if someone is fresher, you must be screening their resume as well. Or what kind of questions do you used to ask to them in order to assess their skills? Or you think they can prepare themselves in that particular area so to get selected in any of the company they are looking for?
Okay, see, any of the company I could not tell, but yeah, for me, I took technical interviews only. Okay,
Okay.
screening and everything depends upon the recruiter and HR. I just got the invite for the technical interviews. It
Okay.
could be either related to operating system troubleshooting, or it could be either related to computer networks. So basically, the foundational knowledge related to the operating system that I already told you, right? You
Mm-hmm.
should have a hands on how things work actually, how these memory management technique, how these booting process, how these OS work, how to troubleshoot your system issues. That is the thing in the operating system. Similar in the computer networks, what is a OSI model, how DNS work, how DHCP works, what is subnetting, what is the NAT gateway or other IP address and things. Okay, so these I would say again a foundational knowledge of computer. When you try to understand or when you try to prepare, you will get these knowledge or you will get these videos or information online as well.
Okay. And what about the AWS? In AWS, I have heard of that EC2 Lambda, and these are also very important. So can you add them as well?
Yeah, so basically, I generally took interviews of technical interviews related to operating system network. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
the other thing you could say, if you have a cloud practitioner certification, right?
Yes, yes.
So you would be having the knowledge of EC2, VPC. These are the basic core services and
Mm-hmm.
how it works. So when you go inside a project, any of your
Mm-hmm.
let's say if you are experienced professional, right? So you if you go inside any project of your company and that is related to AWS, then they would be basically using lambda function either, or it could be a VPC, they could be using an EC2. So if you have the knowledge, that is a plus point for you.
Okay, okay, got it. So, Ujjwal, you mentioned that you are not part of the resume screening, but you yourself has gone through this resume screening round when you were in college, and you must have seen your friends also like struggling with the resume process. So, what suggestion can you give to the freshers, like what skill set they can add on, and what type of projects, or so that their resume can get easily selected in this company?
Okay, so in these company, if you are looking for a cloud role, right? So
Mm-hmm.
the project itself include a cloud related architecture or application, so that when an interviewer asks question related to cloud, you should be able to answer those. So we will get to know like, hey, this candidate does know cloud better than
Mm-hmm.
the other candidate,
Mm-hmm.
right? So cloud related projects, that is a plus point. Then cloud related knowledge, if you are able to do the cloud practitioner certification, associate
Mm-hmm.
certification, then that is a plus point instead of if we select another candidate. And yeah, basic coding stuff, C++, Java, Python, any language that you are comfortable with, these skills are fine if you want to go or switch into the cloud.
Okay, great. I was not planning to stretch that video, but yeah, I got stretched up because you have just shared so many amazing insights, and I just wanted to explore it because there are many freshers or experienced one. Basically, they deal with these kind of questions in their heads. Yeah, so the insights that you have provided and the knowledge that you have given is tremendously very good because I have not interviewed so far with any of the cloud developer. You're the first one, basically. And even though by talking to you, I came to know about cloud a bit, a very good info that you have provided. It was very nice talking with you, Ujjwal. So you have shared a very great insight. Thank you so much for coming to my channel and sharing your valuable info. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Kajal, and it's nice job that you are doing. It will definitely help freshers and their experienced professionals to get into the cloud or any other related field. So that's a great job to you as well.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ujjwal. Thanks for connecting with me. And I'll be providing your LinkedIn ID in description and any of the content like you have studied within the college or any AWS content or that helped you so far. I'll be adding all those resources within the description itself so that the freshers can get benefit from that. Yeah. So thank you so much for coming. Yeah.